What's up, Magic Family? We going Behind the Magic with new artist Pink Sweats. I don't even want to call him an R&B artist because his style is so different. So let's welcome the Philly native Pink Sweats in the building.
Yeah, we here, baby.
What's going down, G?
You know what I mean? I'm cool and enjoying Houston.
Yeah, man.
It's hot.
Bruh, you have no idea. Hot. Like, Houston only has 2.5 seasons. It get hot, it get a little chilly, and then we're back hot again. Like, for real. Deadass. But no, welcome to Houston, man. You been making a lot of noise. Like, I've noticed on this Spotify playlist how Honesty, which is his single, has been on and up there on the charts for months on months now.
Hey.
So that whole curation of, like, is that what got you really popular, you know, the song, or was it the songwriting first?
Honestly, as a songwriter, I always try to maintain being low key.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it was always about the artist. It's never about, I never wanted to overshine the artist who I was, you know, because that was my job, to work and write songs. So it's like, I don't need to come in and be known like, oh, famous songwriter. I want people to feel like not intimidated and like, yo, this guy's here to help me make a dope song, not to make a career. You know what I'm saying? So for me, for a long time, that was just my thing. But once I became an artist, you know, I feel like streaming and just people sharing and liking your music, it really can go way faster sometimes than you think, because I wasn't expecting to be sitting here.
Yeah.
Now, like maybe next year, I was thinking like, not like this quick. It was just like, yo.
It's been a crazy year for you because just last July,
I released Honesty. Yeah.
And now everywhere. Listen, I want to know who some of your musical and vocal influences were growing up, because he was sitting here, you know, warming up, and he's hitting these runs, and I'm like, boy, if you don't, I'm about to smack your face. This man is over here singing. Yeah, who are some of your influence vocalists, or some of your first vocal teachers?
Oh man, I would say who was I used to love Kirk Franklin. It was a lady who sang. She's now in. Is it Tamela Mann? Yeah, she used to be killing. Because I used to love Kirk Franklin when I was young, like beast mode. And then like you got Kierra Sheard, and obviously like you know, her whole family, but she was more of my generation. So.
Yeah.
J Moss.
Okay.
People like that.
Okay. So now it makes sense. You know, the runs make sense because he's got some of the greatest vocalists to ever touch a microphone as his influence. So let's talk about Volume 1. Volume 1 came out, and that's when the buzz kind of started. Yeah. What was the because your sound, like you're not really doing all the trap drums, like how R&B sounds today is not this man, but it is in essential at its core R&B. So with Volume 1 and your style of music, like what made you want to go that route?
I feel like it was most organic to me as because I didn't grow up on a ton of R&B, and I didn't grow up on a ton of rap, so those weren't like my most heavy influences.
Yeah. And
for me, it was like, if I was trying to be an artist, it's like I'm 27 now, so it's like, why would I try to be like someone else? And this is a new dream for me. It wasn't like all this time I was writing, I was secretly planning like, I'm gonna be I never wanted to be an artist. It was just like it happened, you know. Like Drake said, God's plan. It was just like it comes, and it's like, wow, all right, now I'm faced with this decision. It's like, all right, am I gonna try to make a hit record and like follow what's trendy, or I'm gonna just do me and what's authentic to myself? And that's what I did. I was just like, all right, this is what I feel in this particular time and phase of my life, and that's what I'm gonna do.
So when things started to kind of change from being songwriter into artist, how did that make you feel? How did you approach that? Were you a bit timid, like, this ain't what I was really looking for, but if it all, if everything is right and lined up correct, I'll give it a go. Like how was that process in transitioning from being behind to now being up front?
For me, it was like, I've been a writer, so I've been knowing what it's like to be an artist from the sideline, essentially, or on the bench. Like, okay, I see you. I'm a part of the team. I'm helping, but I'm not the LeBron as far as the operation. So I got to see a lot, and it's like, okay, if I'm doing this, I'm going hard. Like, you have to have a why. And I was talking with a guy yesterday, and we were just talking about, like, you got to have a why. And for me, the why was I was tired of hearing producers and writers complaining behind the scenes about the state of music and like how nobody wants to hear this type of music or people don't support this.
That's interesting.
So for me, it was like, at one point I was a part of that conversation, so it's not me dissing nobody. It was just like, all right, let me put my, my boots on, my backpack, and let me just take one for the team, I guess. So because it was a risk, I started independent, so it wasn't like we had a secret deal or somewhere. It was like, yo, literally just me and my friends, like, put a plan together, execute, and then for it to work, like, even my peers, like some songwriters who like do want to be artists as well, reach out to me like, yo, thank you, like, you really inspiring us and like pushing the boundary where people are like paying attention to like real music, and not to say that everything isn't real music, but intentional substance, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's about being intentional sometimes. And, after you turn up, then what? It's like, you got to listen. You got to have a palette that's like versatile.
Yeah. That had been my my kind of issue with the music today. It's like, it's the turn up. You want to feel good, you want to get crunk, like, it's going to do that, but I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. We're going Behind the Majic with Pink Sweats, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 2 is out now.
Volume 2 is out, yeah.
Both available wherever you stream your music. I want to go back to the conversation that you were having with your other producer and songwriting friends about the state of music and how things are like. What was said in that conversation? Like, how do people feel about music right now? Or was they talking about the lack of instrumentation or the lack of creativity or coming out with a conceptual song? Like, what was that like? Because a lot of everyday people feel like that kind of about R&B. You know what I'm saying? So to hear other musicians and producers and songwriters have that conversation, I would be interested to know what that was like.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was more like, the conversation that I was surrounded by was more like, yo, is this what they want to hear? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why can't I catch a break? Because as a songwriter, you hope to make songs that'll be here forever. Like, it's like be growing up and you got this dream to change the world, and then you get into politics and you realize, oh, this ain't what I thought. That's how it is with music a lot of times for people, because you get in it to make a difference and you want to like make those forever songs that people always talking about, like, oh, Michael Jackson, he forever. Like, all right, well, somebody, why y'all don't want to make that kind of music? Why y'all want to, why? And it's like, for me, my perspective always was diversity in music palette. Like, it's not about eliminating that. It's about saying, yo, here's some people that sing like this and sing about this in a different, unique way, who look like yourself, you know what I'm saying? Versus, like, I always shout out Ed Sheeran because I love his music, but on my side of things, as far as the people who look like me at mainstream, we don't have an Ed Sheeran.
Right.
Everybody is a rapper. Everybody is, you know what I'm saying? And we got some people on the rise, and I respect all these dope artists, but like I'm saying, it's just, yo, you gotta have diversity on both ends. It's like, yo, why? Shout out John Legend. Like, John Legend, he been carrying the game for a minute,
long time.
Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as pushing that boundary, and shout out Neo, people like that. But it's like, the reality is we need a resurgence of R&B where when people are getting married, they got songs.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, even though I didn't grow up on this stuff, when I got older, these are things I paid attention to. You know, you had Boys to Men making love songs that, you know, tons of people got married to. Brian McKnight, Babyface. Like, we don't have as many of those kind of artists at mainstream or that are pushing to go to mainstream, you know. And shout out to all the underground artists who are doing their thing, but we need, you know, it's harder to find those people sometimes. It's easy to hear the next Drake song because it's the biggest, they playing everywhere. So we need that equivalent for the people who are, you know, being intentional about their efforts, you know, because that's what our generation is listening to. That's what the generation under us, that's what they learning to appreciate. So it's like, give them something that they can hold on to for, you know, a long time when things get tough. Because like a lot of my fans hit me up like, yo, I was going through this situation with my girl. Like, I don't really see nobody saying that about no turn up songs. Like, I was going through something and I was just like, turn up. Like, and it got me through. I turned up to my blessing.
Yeah, I'm glad that you spoke on it being intentional, because you are very intentional with the music that you make to not be overtly sexual, or you do it how they used to do it back in the day. Your lyrical content is classy. Like, you know, he gonna say I'm about to smash without saying I'm about to smash. You know what I mean? Why that route? Because, you know, a lot of today, like that generation, it is in your face. So, you know, when I listened to Honesty and a couple of others, I was like, man, he is lyrically and melodically is a throwback to the great R&B.
Yeah, I think for me it's just like, okay, if from a songwriter standpoint, I can sit back and watch the game and I say, oh, like, I know how to do all of this stuff. It's a skill at this point for me. It's like, I know how to make this kind of music. I know how to make this kind of music. I know how to make this kind of music. Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, how do you stand out amongst a bunch of people who are chasing the same exact thing? Like, when you go to these studio sessions, a lot of times, shout out to the Migos, people are trying to sound like them. Like, you got singers
staccato flow
trying to sound like rappers, and it's like, dang, this is what it's come to. Like, I understand like being influenced or like, but straight up just like, nah, it has to have this kind of flow. It's like, wow, it does. Like, where'd you read that at? I never heard it. You know what I'm saying? Or
when was that rule implemented?
Yeah, and it's certain things to me. It's like, I always tell people, I'm like, most new R&B people either sound like Chris Brown or the Migos. So it's like, you already killed yourself, because now immediately, and it's like, you sound like, it's not like, oh, you remind me, but you sound like them. And it's like, dang, you shooting yourself in the foot, because even if you get a hit, what have you given people that's special to last? You know, whether you want to be in this business for 2 years or 20 years, you know what I'm saying? Like I always look at Jay-Z and a lot of rappers in his era, and it's like, he was always saying like, yo, I'm not in this for the short game. Like, you gotta be in it for the long game, because then that's how you really win. Because when you in it for the short game, you realize, dang, I got a hit record. You spend all that money, you don't want to go get a regular job at the experiences you've had. Right. So it's like, if you in it for the long game, financially, you already set up yourself and your family to like really be able to make plays and moves, and then you can elevate the culture as well, just similar to how, you know, Jay-Z is doing it.
Man, listen, I like this guy right here, man. Pink Sweats is talking that talk. I love the realness. So before we get out of here, because he's got a performance he's going to do in the listeners lounge with some of the Magic in Box listeners. I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the obvious. Why Pink?
Why Pink? I wish I was a good liar, but I'm not. I don't know. I was born on Valentine's Day. I always try to say that, like, maybe that's a reason. But I always loved Pink, you know what I'm saying? When I was younger, I was just like, yo, Pink is dope. And then I saw Cameron wear it, and I was like, oh, so that's the stamp that it's cool for dudes to do now. Like, but reality, I really don't know. I just always had a thing for it. It stands out. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. My G, I know the people over at Susan G. Komen, all the breast cancer awareness folk, they love you, bro.
Hey,
that
man,
could be a thing, bro.
For real. That's twice. That's twice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and October is creeping up, man. You could have a night. Oof. Yeah. How your people, set that thing. Heck yeah. Pink Sweats in the building. Volume 1 and Volume 2 available now wherever you stream your music. Spotify Honesty on that R&B. Spotify. We are going to get into that video in this video. So I appreciate your time, man. This was a great combo, man.
Thank you.
On the come up. See, I just watch. Watch. You may not have heard of him before, but after today, you're going to know exactly who Pink Sweats is. So I appreciate you, my G.
Appreciate you, man.
I'll see y'all on the radio.